Welcome back to the ISB show. Sahil here with Ishana. Of course, the men's international week is in full flow, but we got to talk women's because the U.S. women just finished their international window. Ishana, let's get all into it. I think this window, they played Jamaica and China, but this team was just too strong for their opponents this time. What do you have to say about that?
Too strong, right? Right, Lex? Yeah, we had someone watching with me, and he was so excited about ISB and to give his reactions. He jumped up onto my lap. So
Welcome back to the program, Mr. Lux.
you know what? I mean, it was a bit of a shame in terms of it just didn't really give us much in terms of like testing the back line. Nothing really, I can't say that I have a strong opinion one way or another about these new players that Emma Hayes has tested out. Of course, we had some great goals, great strikers. I mean, China was giving a high press, but aside from that, I don't think we were tested too much. Jamaica, unfortunately, obviously, Funny Shaw not playing, maybe changes it, but they also were not, defensively not super giving us too much to work with.
Yeah, I think there's, a lot that we don't know after this window. And I think that's what we were all hoping to learn, like which players impressed. Now, let's talk about some of them that did. But you're right. In the back, I think Fallon Tullis-Joyce got the start in 2 matches. That shows that she is Emma Hayes' choice, of course, for goalkeeper. And I think she's going to give her the shot as the number 1. So from a match like this, when you beat a team 3-0 and you beat a team 4-0, like the U.S. women did, you think, okay, everyone played a good match in terms of this particular game. But you thought one of the games they had 70% of the possession, the other game 80%. So sometimes, like you said, we can't really learn that much based on the opponent and in this particular match. But there were some players that stood out. So which players stood out for you, Ishana, in this window?
Yeah, so I would say starting with the first game, I thought Michelle Cooper played really well. This is probably the best I've seen her play. She really generated a lot down that wing. She's super aggressive. I thought Alyssa Thompson played really well in the first game. I mean, she's, even her cutting across like that, it was just her speed. You can see that she is like trying to prove herself that I belong here.
Yeah.
And I love that. She's developed a lot. And then I gotta say, I think Lindsay Heaps in the first game, this is a lot better than I've seen her play in a while. I thought, she had great chemistry with the other midfielders. Speaking of, gotta say, Sam Coffey, I mean, she's just excellent these days. I think she's only gotten better. Excellent. Great goal. Super cool to see her score from the 6. So
yeah, 100%. So let's talk a little bit about Ali Sentnor getting a brace. And then Lynn Biyendolo also getting a brace. What do you have to say about them against Jamaica?
Yeah, I mean, Ali Sentnor, so we go to the second game. I mean, she has just, it's arguable whether between her and Sophia Smith, I'm just like, or Sophia Wilson rather, I'm sometimes just like, wait, is she better? Maybe like me and Rahi were talking about this. They obviously play a lot different, but she's super risky. She's confident, very skillful on the ball. Then we have Lynn Biyendolo, who is perhaps the opposite. She is not a technical player at all. She has always been this bubble player, but she is just a perfect example of you should not try to recreate what other people do. She is a super sub if I've ever seen it. I mean, 100%. This girl, she may not have the strongest technical background. She has such an interesting story. She only got recruited to one college in undergrad, played track and field before, super fast, but she always positions herself correctly. She's extremely scrappy and she just converts. I mean, the girl loves to score. She does exactly what we need her to. And what a cool position for her. She's one of my favorite players. So much fun to watch. And I'm just super happy to see her continually prove her addition in the squad.
Yeah, and a fantastic goal. And the goal she's able to score just shows how good of an athlete she actually is, right? In terms of what she's able to do. So, okay, now taking this particular team, I think Emma Hayes did try some new players here, right? You had Moultrie, you had a bunch of other players that came in, Patterson which, has now proved herself. So I think the squad is forming nicely. The one question I do have in all this is, was this the opponent, or is it showing that these players belong?
See, this is the thing. I'm gonna be honest. What I'm most worried about is our back line. And I don't mean our starting back line. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Sonnet, Emily Fox, Dunn maybe. Great. Gurma, obviously.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is our subs. We don't seem to have depth there. I mean, I thought Mikyon played better, but we weren't really meant to defend that much. And the only thing I can go off of is a bit of the chemistry. And Tullis-Joyce, for example, she does not seem very confident on her feet. And that's something that I get worried about. I just feel like, obviously the second game with Foxian made such a difference.
Yeah.
And I still think Kruger was such a good sub for her. And obviously, maybe she's aged out of the position or, down the line, but that's where I'm really worried. I mean, you take a team like Spain, like England. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm more worried about that than the midfield, to be honest.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think up front, in the forward line, fantastic. The midfielders now are fantastic, and they're starting to have depth. I think the back line is where we need to concentrate a little bit. I know that McKeown is slowly improving, but when Tierna Davidson's out, or when one of the other defenders happens to be out, obviously we had Gurma back, and that shows you how much more solidified it is. I think that's what's going to be the key moving forward. Because as you said, Ishana, there's a lot of tough competition right now in Europe. There's the Nations League that was happening, and they're about to play the Euros in a few months, and it's tough. It's tough competition. So the US team has to be ready.
Yeah, the other thing I'd like to see is I want to see how Lily Johannes plays against teams who are a little bit quicker. I mean, I know her style, she's casual on the ball. I get it. I mean, her passes are extraordinary, but I still think she is going to get cut down in the middle if she's that slow on the ball. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but in that position with that through line, unless she pulls like a tactical yellow or something, it's gonna be tough. So I would still like to see her develop in that regard. I was very pleased with this new. I just want to segue the new set piece formations.
Yeah.
This sort of dummy move where you think you're taking corner and then it's a short corner. I think it's super creative. We were not as strong on set pieces before, and I love seeing that. I love a Lindsay Heaps header. We don't have a lot of aerial threats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's definitely one. And so, yeah, I mean, that in and of itself to me is enough to keep her. But,
Yeah.
I know that's a controversial question. So,
It's controversial, but she still firmly planted herself on the team at this point in time. All right, we finish up here with these friendlies in the books. The international window's done. We'll see the U.S. women again take on Ireland in a few matches at the end of the month, and then take on Canada as well. So we'll get to see that next round with the Canadian team. That should be a stiff challenge for the U.S. women. Ishana, final thoughts before we wrap up here on, I think, what's we could say, regardless of the opponent, it's been a very successful window for the U.S. women's national team.
yeah, I mean, my only thoughts are I wish that we could get some friendlies with some European teams, more European teams. And, I want to see. I don't know. I think there's a big separation right now, and I want to see more friendlies. I want to, ideally, if we could do like a Club World Cup, like the men's side, that would be awesome. I mean, we have the WSL and the NWSL are arguably, neck and neck, as well as the other European leagues. And so, yeah, I just want more. I want more competition.
Yes, we all do. So for those of you out there enjoying these videos and fans of women's football / women's soccer, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all again at the end of the month after the U.S. women's national team takes on Ireland and Canada. So keep watching the beautiful game. See y'all then.